Roscoe. Ross Co.
Cappy. 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 Cappy.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ballers to Balding, where, as always, we'll have some strong takes and some weak follicles. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Spotify, because honestly, we need something to lift our spirits. We're hanging on by a thread. As I'm sure you know and have heard, Celtics and Bruins both got bounced in the first round of the playoffs this week, and we've entered our 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, praying that everyone gets traded, starting a petition to fire the coaches, and pretending that the Red Sox matter again. These are rough times for Boston fans. Ross, how was your week? How did you cope?
Oh, I gotta tell you, Cap. This was a tough week. I mean, as you know, I'm not one for hyperbole, but this week really brought me back to 9/11.
Similar.
The COVID shutdown,
Mm-hmm.
and even my dad dying. But you know what? In some ways, this was even worse because none of those other events involved Ron Harper Jr. starting a Game 7.
That's true. That's true. He
I mean,
wasn't even on the team. Believe me, if
brutal.
your dad is up there watching, I'm sure he's not happy.
No, it's been brutal. No sports to really watch. So I'm actually at a low point, wondering if I should start watching Bridgerton. That's where I am right now.
Holy shit. People always hit you with the same line after your team gets eliminated, right? They're like, dude, it's just a game. And you're like, it's just a game? It's just a game. I am an empty nester, well past my prime. What else am I supposed to be emotionally invested in? Gas prices? Air fryer recipes? A 6-part documentary on Netflix about Norwegian furniture because they ran out of murderers? Sports is the one last thing remaining in my adult life that still makes me feel something primal. Genuine joy, genuine pain, actual anticipation. You spend 6 months attaching your emotional well-being to a group of millionaires you've never met because honestly, it beats feeling dead inside. And that's why this hurts, Ross. That's why this hurts, because Celtics and Bruins didn't just lose. Their seasons ended suddenly, violently.
Let me just say, it's worse on our wives because they now have to talk to us.
I know.
Oh.
I know. It's like 1 minute you're looking up the finals tickets, right? Convincing yourself that the Celtics are a team of destiny. And the next minute, you're standing in your kitchen at 1 a.m., stress eating pickles right out of a jar while some ESPN analyst explains why your happiness was mathematically fraudulent the whole time. It's traumatic. You're just left with an empty feeling.
It's tough. It's tough. But we have to go on.
What am I supposed to do now? Read books? Improve myself? Be present? No, thank you. It's a shock to the system. 2 promising seasons ripped away before we were emotionally prepared to deal with it.
I think our all black is appropriate.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find the strength to love again by training camp. Well, the show must go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
It must go on. And so we should start with our douchebags of the week.
So you want me to start?
First. You want to start? You do.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, as difficult as this week's been, unfortunately, this is a really easy week to pick a douchebag of the week. Because this one hurts me. But I got to tell you, Jaylen Brown has completely 100% earned douchebag of the week for me. Now, I want you to understand that Jaylen Brown is probably my favorite Celtic. He is probably my favorite Celtic. But Jaylen has an issue that is very prevalent. I've said this on other podcasts. Oftentimes, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And Jaylen's greatest strength is he plays with a chip on his shoulder. But that is also his weakness because he has paranoia and believes that everyone is against him. So after the Celtics blew a 3-1 series lead against the Sixers, a series in which Jaylen was at best mediocre, he went on a Twitch stream and he talked about several issues that I want to discuss. Let's focus on 4. First, he said that Joel Embiid flops, and everyone knows it, and he said that flopping is ruining the game. Second, related to that, Jalen said that the refs actually had an agenda against him. This is 24 hours after the loss of a Game 7 that they blew, a 3-1 lead. The refs had an agenda against him because he has criticized the refs during the year, and that's the reason why they called 10 offensive fouls against him in the series, many of which were when he was using his left arm to push off. According to Jalen, all the great players do that, but the refs had an agenda against him. Third, he said this season was his favorite, his favorite of his career, notwithstanding the fact that the Celtics blew a 3-1 lead, had a complete meltdown, and his running mate, the guy who he's played with for 9 out of his 10 years, was injured all season, who also happens to be the one guy who takes the ball away from him. And fourth, he noted that he wished the Celtics had played more like they did during the season. And then his friend and mentor, Tracy McGrady, said on McGrady's own podcast that he understands from Jalen that Jalen has deep frustration with the Celtics organization. I give you those 4 comments to equal the following word: a douche. Here's why. Number 1, yes, of course Embiid flops. And it's okay to say it, but you don't say it the day after you lost a 3-1 lead. It just comes off as such sour grapes. And by the way, if you were so concerned about that, why didn't you say something after Game 4 when you won by 30 points? Number 2, the refs had an agenda? Really? Jalen had more turnovers than assists in this series. And if you really watched any of his 10 offensive fouls, I don't know about you, but there was like no question about any of them that he was doing that. It was like not even, they weren't close. And again, it just comes off so poorly. Number 3, and each of these gets more douchey. This is Jalen's favorite season. You won a championship 2 years ago and were the Eastern Conference Finals and Finals MVP. Here again, you lost a 3-1 lead for the first time in Celtics organizational history. This was your favorite year? And finally, and this is the part that really, and this comes into chip on the shoulder, he has frustration with the organization. Let's talk about what's happened with Jalen since he left Cal. He was picked number 3 in the draft by the Celtics. He played his 3 years, and they extended him. They gave him a huge contract. Then they extended him again and made him the highest paid player in the NBA. Now, Tatum is now the highest paid player, but Jalen is certainly not the first or second best player in the NBA, yet he's paid as such. As a Celtic, he's been in the playoffs every single year. As a Celtic, he's been in 6 Eastern Conference Finals. As a Celtic, he's been in 2 finals and won 1. What is he looking for? What is his frustration with the organization? He has one of the highest usage ratings. He's always been one of the top scorers. He gets tons of looks. Jalen, this was a bad, bad look, and you are my douchebag of the week.
That's a great call, Russ. I can't deny it. Jaylen Brown somehow made an embarrassing loss even more embarrassing, I would say. And if you're also, you made a point, if you're going to complain about Embiid and the refs, do it after Game 3 when you can still swing the whistle. That's at least strategy. But whining after the series, that is not the behavior of your star player. That should be left to, the whiny know-it-all fans, right?
And again,
which is why Embiid is my douchebag of the week.
All right, and I'm looking forward to that. But I just say to Jalen, why? Continue, Kappa.
So my douchebag is Joel, who I call Joel. His name is Joel Embiid. All right, and listen, before any Philly fans start throwing batteries at my head through my window, yes, he was great. 34 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, monster Game 7, great performance in the series. But you can't sell yourself as the baddest dude in the league and then collapse like you just got tased when someone brushes your elbow. I mean, Peyton Pritchard blows past him and Embiid hits the floor like he just got clipped by a sniper in the upper deck. No contact, no collision, just a strong breeze that brings down a redwood. I'm actually kind of impressed. Every Embiid possession is the same. Back down, spin, minimal contact, and suddenly it's Saving Private Embiid. And yeah, his numbers are great. 30 a night, double-digit free throws, but let's be honest. This guy goes to the line like it's a loyalty program. 37 foul shots in the series, and he missed the first 2 games. It does feel like the refs aren't officiating, they're anticipating. The whistle's like on a hair trigger, just waiting to blow the minute he touches hardwood. And at some point, for me, it stops being basketball and starts being method acting. Is Joel Embiid trying to win a championship or land a role in season 50 of Grey's Anatomy? Like, bro, you're 7 feet, you weigh 280. You should not be the easiest guy in the league to knock over. I've seen folding chairs that are sturdier than Joel Embiid. And the guy loves to say, he always says stuff like, I'm unguardable. I just want to dominate. Okay, then dominate. Don't give me Shaq quotes and then play like you're on Manchester United. Because when I think of dominant big men, I think Shaquille O'Neal breaking backboards, not flopping all over them. Or Hakeem Olajuwon cooking dudes with his footwork, not collapsing from eye contact. Or Tim Duncan taking a hit and finishing, not auditioning for a whistle. Those guys didn't need theatrics. They were the problem, right? And again, Embiid is a great player. Nobody's denying that. But when your whole brand is, I am a tough, dominant force, and then a guard half your size bumps you and you act like you just stepped on a landmine, you look a lot less like an MVP and a lot more like my douchebag of the week.
Yes. Good. I so agree. And can I just add Kappa?
Yeah.
See, that actually made me a little happier. I have to say, it's just not fun to watch. Like, you watch him play, and either he gets fouled, he hits the shot, or he misses the shot. It's never somebody plays good defense and he misses the shot. It's always one of those 3 things. And it's just not fun to watch. I mean, the guy's taking 10 to 15 free throws a game.
Any contact, he gets the call.
Yep.
And it's a joke. But that being said, I agree with yours as well. I'm just not Embiid. I think I wouldn't put him in the top category with those guys.
Well, let me just add, in case this just came out, that he is in game 2 for the Knicks series. He is out because of ankle and hip soreness.
Okay.
So,
great.
They lost game 1 by like 40 points.
I know. If they get smoked the whole way through, if they lose like 4-0 or 4-1, it's just going to be even more embarrassing. And look, a lot of people are going to talk about this Celtics season. We've all seen it already. We've seen the articles. But I want to pose a question. Does the end of the Celtics season mean that the season as a whole was a failure? The way it ended. Can you take positives from the season given the ending? Or did that make it an unsuccessful season? You want to take the positive or the negative?
I'll take positive.
That's interesting.
I'm going to take the positive because I am a positive guy.
I'm glad that you can joke at a tough week like this.
Let me just say this. I'm so negative that if the glass is half full, I wish it was a bigger glass. So, I am not so, but I will take this because I actually do think if you take a few steps back, that it was actually a fun, successful season, notwithstanding how it ended. Number 1, we all thought that the Celtics were going to suck this year. We thought that at best they were a playing team. They had nobody up front. Oh my God, who's going to score after Pritchard? We just thought that they lost all their guys last year trying to get under the cap or trying to get their cap situation straight, and they're not going to be fun. They won 56 games.
Yeah.
They were the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, that obviously ended up being a bit of a mirage, but the reality is that was a fun season. And I will tell you that they were very fun to watch. I loved watching how they played this year because they were always underdog. And when they lost, unlike past seasons where I'd be, as I said in our other podcast, where I'd be so bummed out and so frustrated, like I was in the playoffs. I wasn't like that during the season. Number 2, notwithstanding what happened in the playoffs, I thought that Brown got so much better. And I thought he was clutch during the season. He showed he can be the number one guy, and that helps whether he stays on the Celtics or not. And I wonder if he is going to stay on the Celtics because of some of these comments that I just talked about. But the fact of the matter is, he's never been more valuable. If you're going and need to trade him, now is the time to do it. He's never been more valuable. Number 3, the young guys. Oh, God, was it great to watch them. Did they not get better? Hugo, Walsh, Kada, Shireman all played and all look like at least mid to back of the rotation guys, specialists on a good team. They are guys who are going to play for you on a good team. And again, Pritchard took yet another step as a critical guy and a guy who can score in both the playoffs as well as the regular season. So I thought that was awesome. And then last, and I already kind of made a reference to it, they're pretty close to fixing their cap situation. Remember, last year they were past the second apron and they were going to have like a $500 million tax, etc. They are totally out of that. And if they stay under the taxpayer level this year, they have so many options next year. And they're a very young team.
Mm-hmm.
They have one guy other than Vooch, who's not going to be on the team next year. They have one guy who's 30, Derek White. So they, I think, are in a really good situation. And if you can look back, the really depressing ending, I think it was a great season.
All right, I'm going to take the negative. All right.
So different for you because usually such a happy pro guy.
Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why the playoff loss makes this season feel like a failure to me. Number 1, the expectations changed the standard.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics weren't judged like some scrappy underdog anymore once Tatum came back and they went up 3-1 to the Sixers. At that point, it was finals or bust, and we all felt it. I mean, the season, you were right. Tatum was out this season, lost Porzingis, lost Holiday. They still won 56. Yeah, and they still won 56 games. Brown, arguably best season of his career. And let's be honest, we were talking about June like it was already in the calendar. We were there. And once you're in that position, collapsing isn't just a tough loss. It kind of rewrites the perception of the entire season. Like nobody's going to remember the surprisingly resilient regular season. They're going to remember blowing a 3-1 lead to a mediocre team. That's just how, sports history is. It's brutal. Nobody talks about the first 2 days on the Titanic when it was sunny and the seas were calm. It's all about the iceberg, baby.
It's also the expectations, as you say. Right. It's like when a girl invites you up to her apartment for a drink and she gives you tea and says, all right, I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You sound a little rapey. Let's we'll maybe cut that. All right. So the playoffs. I mean, I just would go up and enjoy the tea and conversation. All right. The playoffs also exposed holes in their roster to me. Part of what made the regular season so exciting was, like you said, many of these young guys who looked like real answers. And we talked ourselves into the depth and the development, into the idea that Boston had uncovered these sneaky playoff contributors who could survive high-level postseason basketball. And then the playoffs came along, and with it came the truth, basically. And the biggest example was Kada, right? During the regular season, he looked like one of the most improved big men in basketball. Energy, rim protection, efficient scoring, productive minutes. Celtics fans were talking about him like Brad Stevens had found a starting center in the clearance aisle at Marshall's. Everyone was like, wait, did we just find the answer to the center position? And the answer is no, we did not. Because the playoffs immediately turned Kada into a stress test. He couldn't stay out of foul trouble. He made bad decisions. And suddenly the regular season production felt like one of those movie trailers where they already used every good scene. And it wasn't just Kada. Guys like Jordan Walsh and Baylor Shireman looked like meaningful contributors from November to April. And then the playoffs tightened up, and suddenly they seemed like players, designed for a random Tuesday against Charlotte. But in their defense, part of that could be Joe Mazzulla, who did not play them and did not play them in the role. So I still think they have potential, but it made the end of the series feel bigger than just a blown, chance at winning the first round and moving on. The playoffs didn't just end the season. They exposed the entire construction of the roster, you got to feel like the Celtics, if they want to seriously compete for a championship, they need a legitimate starting center. Somebody who doesn't make you hold your breath every time Embiid backs down in the paint, basically. All right. And finally, the collapse raised bigger questions instead of providing answers. This is the big one for me. A successful season usually leaves you feeling like you're closer to something. Like, you may be closer to a title, you're closer to developing a core, you have a clear direction for the future. But this collapse did the opposite. It reopened every question and doubt that we thought we'd kind of finally buried. Mental toughness, late game execution, coaching decisions, the horrifying offense where everyone just stands around launching panic threes like they're trying to win a carnival prize. And you made the point, Ross, and it's true. 3 out of 4 years, the underlying philosophy of the team, which is built entirely on three-point shooting, collapsed in the playoffs against weaker, inferior teams. When the threes have fallen, let's face it, the Celtics looks like the sport was invented specifically for them. And when they are fallen, the offense turns into 5 guys trying to win the game with the exact same shot that stopped working 20 minutes ago. There's no counterpunch. There's no plan B. There's no settling things down with 2 points at the rim. Just another contested step-back three with 2 seconds left on the 24-second clock while an entire city screams into their couch pillow. And that's the part that leaves me uneasy. Because when the series ended, nobody walked away thinking, we're right there.
Yeah, no.
Instead, we were all asking ourselves, wait, how the hell did this happen again?
Yeah.
It's like, it's scary right now. What's going to happen? Are they going to blow up the team? We don't know. So to me, to lose like that kind of makes the whole season feel like.
Well, let me just say that I saw Stevens did his end of the year press conference today, and he did say, without saying it, we're not good enough. We need better players. And one of the things he pointed out was even during the season, they were apparently 3-11 against the top teams. So his point was, we need to have better players. Now, his answer on the three-point philosophy was, yeah, we always want to get threes, but we want to get good threes. But what we have to do and we have to be better at is getting to the rim and getting good shots at the rim, which we don't do. So he's aware of it. The question I have is, on you blowing up the team, is, are they going to try and trade Brown for Giannis?
That's what everyone says.
It would work. It would work.
Might work for both teams.
And financially, you could do it. It would not be impossible to do it.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. They're never going to be a perennial winner. They're never going to be with Brown and Tatum playing the way they are. I think a big part of what made them win the championship was the calming, mature presence of Drew Holiday. I really do. Look, we're wrapping up here towards the end of the show. And just to recap, the Celtics are out. The Bruins are out. The Red Sox are currently treating last place like they got a long-term lease. The NFL is months away. And soccer, I mean, look, we tried. We really have. But after 90 minutes ending in a 1-1 tie, we feel like we wandered into a European PE class. We just can't do it. Which leaves us in a tough position because usually we have a lot to discuss, Russ. Playoff heartbreak, coaching drama, trade rumors, a Boston athlete threatening a reporter, the classics, they're all there. But right now, we're staring into a sports abyss. And honestly, we need you. We're asking the Ballers to Baldwin community for help. All right? Drop topics in the comments you want us to discuss. Questions, arguments, conspiracy theories, recipes, anything. You want us debating the greatest Boston athletes of all time? Done. You want relationship advice from 2 men with extensive dating experience 30 years ago? We'll slap on our mock turtlenecks and give it to you straight. You want an honest comparison between Popeyes and KFC? We have strong opinions. Whatever you want to discuss, throw it in the comments and we'll do as many as we can because right now we are 2 broken men wandering through a sports wilderness searching for purpose. So please send us in the right direction. So we'll be looking for the comments, everyone. We appreciate it. Ross, stage 5, I guess, at this point, pretending like the Red Sox matter.
Thanks for helping me through this, buddy. I
Yeah,
love you.
please send your comments, everybody. Love you, buddy. Stay strong. Boston, strong.